Jake Eisenberg here for Maryland Baseball Network, along with the general head coach John Szefc, now just 1 day away from the start of the 2017 college baseball season. And Coach, I'll start with this. Your team coming into the season, so many off-season accolades and some great summers from guys like Kevin Smith and Zach Jankarski. What does that off-season success say about this year's team?
Well, I think it says that hopefully that they have a little more experience under their belt and that they're prepared. We put a lot of stock into what goes on with our guys in the summertime, where they go to play, kind of the plan that they go out with. And our guys really did a very good job executing that this summer. We had 11 players that were on their all-star teams for that particular league. The guys you mentioned kind of stood out, obviously. But, I think the majority of our guys came back better than when they left.
And on that subject, you had a young team last year with a lot of freshmen and sophomore contributors like Smith and Nick Dunn and Marty Costas.
Right.
So they're getting a lot of experience playing over the summer coming into the season. But also freshman guys like Tyler Blome seeing college competition for the first time in the Cal Ripken League.
Yep.
What does that kind of experience give to your team coming into this year?
It's good. I mean, that's one of the, I like to say, like the small kept secrets about this particular program, which I didn't know when I got here, was the importance of the Ripken League, because they take high school players that are obviously good enough. So whenever we have a guy that we feel like is good enough to play at that league, whether it's facing college hitters or pitching against college hitters, we try to get them in there. It kind of speeds up their development a little bit. And if you look at our roster, there's so many guys on our roster that played in that league between their senior in high school and their freshman year in college. Guys like Dunn and Lee and Bloom and Schaefer and, Costas. So there's others too, but I mean, just off the top of my head. And that's really, I mean, every one of those guys came in with a great kind of jump start on their fall.
2 of the past 3 years, this team has reached the Super Regionals. Last year, a bit of a step back, making the Big Ten tournament semifinal, but not making the NCAA tournament.
Right.
What does the team have to do this year to progress past the Big Ten tournament and make it back to the NCAA tournament?
I just think they just have to rely on their experience, and I think we have a lot of good players, like talented players that are good enough to be postseason players. And I think just a matter of each guy just doing his thing, and not trying to do too much, and just kind of take care of his own business, really. I think, both offensively and on the mound, we have a lot of different ways that we can be successful, a lot of different ways we can beat other teams. And I think when you take our pitching staff, the depth that's there, hopefully, and you put the defenders that we have behind it, it should equal an awful lot of success, hopefully.
Yeah, it's not too often that you lose your career leader in wins, innings pitched, and strikeouts, and still find yourself in a good spot pitching-wise. But with Schaefer and Bloom at the front of the rotation, does that give you confidence? And with the young guys coming back as well. Yeah,
that is a good point. Like to say that you have the deepest staff that we've had since we've been here, having lost Schwarn is kind of it's a strange thing to say. But you have 2 all Big Ten starters coming back that had more innings, more starts and walks. Plus you have a guy like Parsons come back, who was a Ripken League Pitcher of the Year, and then obviously a starter candidate like Blome, who was a high school draft pick and was a Ripken League All-Star. I mean, those are 4 pretty strong starter candidates, and a guy like Cam Mink coming back, who was a perfect game pitcher of the year. So, and that league's not a shabby league either; it's a very good league. So, a lot of things kind of happened over the summer and since we left in June to kind of go our way. And we just have to kind of keep managing all those things to make them continue to go our way as the spring comes.
Looking closer at this weekend and the rest of the non-conference schedule, once again, you've put together a pretty strong non-conference slate.
Yep.
And this weekend in particular, with 2 teams that made the NCAA tournament last year in Louisville and Alabama State, but more specifically Louisville.
Yep.
How much do you look at that game as kind of a measuring stick to see where your team is?
I mean, it is and everything, but it's one game. It's the second game of the year, so I think we're pretty well prepared at this point, just because we've been outside an awful lot. We had a very good fall. Knock on wood, we haven't had a lot of major injuries yet. So we feel pretty good about where it is at this point. And I mean, Dan obviously does a great job with that program, and they're one of the best in the country. But It's one game. I mean, obviously you want to do well against them. It is, I guess, a bit of a measuring stick, but I don't like to put too much stock in one game. Win or lose, success or failure that early in the season. I don't want to have our guys get too high off of, success against them or just get completely defeated by having a poor day against them. Technically we're going in every weekend trying to win a series, although we're not playing a 3-game series against the same team. You want to go and win 2 out of 3 and hopefully win all of them, really. That's kind of the plan. So I don't know if that answers the question or not, but, we want to have success against them, but
right.
it is just one game,
When it comes to this season overall, what would make it a successful one to you? Would it be making it back to the NCAA tournament, making it to Omaha, or is there some kind of intangible goal that you have set?
I think it's kind of hard to put a answer to that one, like to actually measure it just yet, because we had a ton of success in 14 and 15, going deep into the NCAA tournament. I guess my first thought would be to go deep into the NCAA tournament. What exactly that is, I don't know, because first off you have to get there to begin with, play well enough to get there, and then once you do get there, then a lot of it, so much of it's the matchup. Like, I think any coach who's been there before would tell you the matchup has a lot to do with it, as far as what regional they put you into, who you're facing, how far you have to travel. All those things kind of play into it, But, I mean, I think our guys, plan to go deep into the NCAA tournament, as they do every year. So hopefully we play well enough to get into the postseason and take it from there.
Just a day away from the start of the 2017 season, the Terps taking on the Ball State Cardinals tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, live from Spectrum Field in Clearwater, Florida. Be sure to tune in on Maryland Baseball Network. Coach Szefc, thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.